first little chat video since the move. This is being filmed post-move. This is being filmed on Monday, September 10th. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. We moved last Saturday on September 1st. We moved, it's in the same town. We moved about 5 miles away, but instead of a very, secluded cottage in the woods, we moved to a much larger apartment downtown. And this is still a very rural town, so we're not talking like the big city here, but it is quite a bit more out there than what we're accustomed to. We actually are on a corner. The home in which we live in is on a corner, and a busy corner of the town, because the post office is right next to us. So there's quite a bit of traffic. We're a little bit unaccustomed to it. We're not accustomed to living in an apartment, so we can hear some neighbor noise here and there. It's not that big of a deal. We've met a couple of the neighbors already, and they're perfectly fine, perfectly nice people. We're just not accustomed to it. My daughter has, I don't want to say never lived in an apartment, because we moved back to New Hampshire when she was 2 months old. So she only lived in an apartment for the first 2 months of her life. So she's accustomed to the quiet in the woods. So she'll get a little bit scared if we hear, like, if a neighbor moves a chair upstairs or something, and it has this echoing sound. And so it's not too bad. I just have really been trying hard to make sure that our house gets set up. The move day itself, it was a really long day and really hard on my husband, who does most of the heavy lifting, because I, as you know, have back problems. We had limited help that day. We're very grateful for the help that we had, but it was pretty limited. His brother came for a couple of hours, then had to go to work, and I had some friends that worked and then were able to come for a couple of hours. So very grateful for their help. And also, because it was a holiday weekend, it was Labor Day weekend, we could not get a decent sized U-Haul. So we ended up having to make multiple trips with a small U-Haul that we were able to rent. But it did all work out, and we finally out of the other house. We do still have a couple of things that our former landlord is letting us leave on the property, like our grill and bicycles and sleds and stuff, because we've not yet been given a key to the basement here at the apartment so that we can store that stuff here. Not a big deal. We're still quite friendly with them, so that's fine. We will eventually go get those things, but it's been a heck of a week and week and a half. Just we're all just exhausted. We had just a ton of stuff, and we are now almost all unpacked. I still have a couple of boxes left for the craft area, and I'm really excited to show you guys the craft area, but it is not going to be finalized. I kind of just put stuff where it fit without giving too much thought. In most cases, why something was where it was. Excuse me. And kind of my thought was, I really need to sit down and, like, my other craft area, which kind of developed organically over the 10 years that we lived in the house, and I developed a need for something. So I had, a drawer set up for this and so on and so forth. I don't have that kind of organic progression of this craft area. So I kind of just put stuff where I thought that it goes, and I figured that the best way to figure out where stuff goes is to actually sit down and craft and do some projects, and then I can kind of adjust things from there. The craft area that I have to work with here is a lot smaller than I had in the other house, just because of the way that the walls and the windows are configured and stuff. But however, I basically just, like, this wall here, my desk is up against the wall, which is right here. And this wall all the way down to the doorway to the kitchen is my craft area. And I have a nice window here which overlooks the street. And our little lawn and the neighbor's house. Yeah, so it's a lot smaller, and I wanted to, that was kind of one of my goals, was I wanted to eliminate some of the excess stuff that I had. And I destashed a lot before we moved, and I still have a lot of stuff that I really should slim. I really need to slim my collection down a little bit. So other than that, and I still do have, I have a One Recollections cart, which is a little bit off to the side, this way, and then I have another cabinet way in the other corner of the living room, but my stuff is inside of the cabinet and not outside of the cabinet, so at least that kind of looks like a proper living room. This is part of the living room. Basically, my goal was to have a very specific looking craft area, which didn't take up the whole room. Unlike the other house where my craft area over the course of 10 years ate the living room, I wanted to have a very specific craft area and then the whole rest of the room be family living area. So I hope that with the furniture arrangement that we have currently, finally, we've gone through several different versions of changing the room around over the past couple of days. I hope that we finally come up with something where there's a specific line, a definite line of where my work area begins and family, and then the family area begins. So you guys will see that. Once we're all unpacked and we have things like curtains. We don't have curtains yet. The previous tenant left her curtains for us because we don't own curtains. There was no need for them in our rental before. In fact, the windows weren't even fitted for curtain rods. Just nobody could ever see in your windows because our landlord lived next to us, but the houses were at such an angle that you could never see into each other's windows anyway. And other than that, it was just endless acres of woods and trees. So there just was no need ever for curtains. Here, we're living on a corner. There is a need for curtains. So my friend left her curtains here, so that's nice. But some of the rooms don't have curtains. Like the room that I'm in right now is the living room. There's no curtains. So, and in fact, a lot of the blinds are broken and need replacing. So there's not even any blinds. So I can't shut the window for some privacy. And again, we are on that corner. So definitely need curtains. We need just small little things. We, a couple of throw pillows and, things like that. So once we're really settled in and finished unpacking, I would love to do an apartment tour for you guys. So I'm really excited with what I've been able to do so far on such a small budget. And I'm excited to show it off. So we did obtain some new furniture. One of the other things that's still kind of on our to-buy list is bookshelves. I love to read. I have hundreds of books that I've had forever. Our previous house didn't have any room for any bookshelves or anything, so the books had just been in storage for years. We're on the lookout for a couple of bookshelves to put in our hallway area so that I can finally unpack my books. But other than that, we're pretty much all set. We did obtain two new bureau dressers that we're using in the living room area. One is to hold the fish tank, and another we're using to hold the television. And within a lot of those drawers, instead of having a DVD rack, we put the DVDs in the drawers of the dresser. And I can't even tell you how much cleaner and neater a room looks without a DVD rack. It's amazing. Just the difference between here and the other house, how nice that looks. Everything's all nice and tucked away in the drawer. And in fact, one of the dressers, the larger dresser, the one that we're going to use for the large 75-gallon fish tank, I may have told you guys that we picked up, that we're eventually going to transfer the fish into. They're not right now. We're letting them get settled into their new house first. The other one had a lot of extra drawers, so actually I even took a couple of those drawers for some of my crafting supplies as well, and that worked out pretty well. But the room just looks so much cleaner without a bunch of DVDs, and I think especially just the contrast of course, my craft area is crazy busy with like everything on the walls, and then it stops, and then immediately right behind me, actually in the chairs or where the couches are, in the carpet, and then beyond that is the television. So I think it looks a lot neater, and it looks a lot less busy and crazy and messy without having the DVDs out. And oddly, the DVD rack that we had was just a small like particle board type thing that we got at Big Lots like years ago. And the shelves are kind of bent from the weight of the DVDs over the years, and the back was broken, and it was actually in a pile to be either given away or just trashed. And we got the brilliant idea of why don't we repurpose it? So my husband put some screws in it and put it back together, and actually the DVD rack is now hanging over my desk on this wall, and I'm using the shelves for some crafting stuff. So it's not the prettiest, but it is super functional, and whoa, I can't even tell you how impressed I am so far. So I will definitely show you guys that soon. Once I'm a little bit more established in the craft area, I'd love to do a craft area tour. I'd love to do an apartment tour, talk about stuff like that. I have like an actual proper kitchen now. I'd love to do like cooking with you guys and talking about Pinterest stuff. And there's just so much to do now. I'm so excited. Anyway, so that is, I think, everything I can think about with the move. Everything's doing fine. The pets are fine. We have 2 cats, Percy and Pan. Percy's a little bit braver. He was out and about and just like, whatever, this is my house now, within like 2 seconds of coming here. And poor Pan spent the first 24 hours like cowering in the bathroom, just scared. I actually had to go and like physically pick him up and take him out of the bathroom, and then he was like, "Oh, all right," and then he was fine. The rabbit is doing well. She does not like hard floors, and where we have her currently, she's in our laundry room, which is right off the kitchen. And it's all linoleum out there. Our eventual plan is to move her cage into the bedroom, me and my husband's bedroom, because she's accustomed to sleeping with us. But the room is not rabbit proofed right now. She eats wires, and we still have to tack those up off the floor, which is a project for tonight or tomorrow even for my husband. So it will just be a matter of time before we can do that. But because of the linoleum, she didn't want to get out of her cage, so we ended up putting like some throw rugs underneath her so that she get out of the cage. And now she comes out, she has, like, except for our bedroom, which isn't rabbit proofed yet, the full run of the house. Just, you'd think that she'd been here all along. She's like, whatever. She's a bully. The cats, who are like 8 times her size, are just terrified of her. She chases them, so you'd think that nothing was, any different for her. I think that the fish are even enjoying the house somewhat more. They used to be on my daughter's dresser in her bedroom, and of course my daughter goes to school and isn't home. Goldfish are very social animals. They're out in the main room and the living room right now, and they're able to see me, and I can talk to them all day long and visit with them, and they can see what's going on. They seem to be enjoying this a lot more. They seem to be a lot more active and a lot more fun. A lot more interactive. Every time I come a little bit close to the tank, they get a little bit excited. They're adjusting okay to city water. Okay, not city, but they're adjusting better to the public water that we have here. We were on a well, so we've been gradually kind of adjusting them from the well water, the nice well water to the town water. And they seem to be doing very well. Sadly, it may or may not be related to the move, but we had a couple of snails that have died in the past couple of weeks, and they've since been replaced, and the new snails are doing fine. So I don't know if it had anything to do with the move, or I think I've talked to you guys about this before. I seem to just not have very good luck with the snails anyway. We have the snails on the goldfish tank to eat the algae, and they just, for some reason, mine only live for a couple of months, and then I find them like empty shells. It's also theorized that our goldfish might be eating the snails. I don't know. We're told that if we get a snail called an apple snail, which is a much bigger kind of snail, then the goldfish are not able to eat them, and they're much bigger, and you need less of them. I can't find anywhere local to get one, so maybe that's something I'll look into once we get them transferred to their large 75-gallon tank, which will kind of be, once I finish unpacking everything, that will kind of be my next project. Getting everybody, I have to finish sterilizing the tank and getting the tank moved out here, and then getting it filled, and I have the filters and I have all those things. It's just physically doing it. It's a large tank, it's heavy, it requires my husband's assistance. And then once it's there, it's going to stay there forever, because I think we did the calculation, it's going to be over 600 pounds once the water is in it, so it's going to be this big deal. But we're very close to being unpacked. I think I have probably just 3 or 4 different boxes for the craft area. My daughter's room is done. The kitchen is done. The bathroom, we still have like half a box of stuff for the bathroom. I've just kind of been lazy about unpacking it. Maybe I should be a little bit more proactive. Every time I go in there, I'll force myself to take a couple things out of the box and put it away. Our bedroom is done, me and my husband's bedroom. We need new closet doors that have to be replaced, and that actually reminds me I have to email the landlord. Let me just write a little note here. He's going to replace our closet doors and also a bunch of the broken blinds in the apartment. I just had to email him with the dimensions, and I forgot to do that earlier. Little note to myself. And our clothes are all unpacked. My husband's, the man equivalent of the craft area for my husband is in our bedroom. He's still working on that. Unpacking that and doing his own stuff. We did end up we were able to create like a whole corner of the room for him in there. So that's cool. So he's a musician, like a hobbyist musician. So he has a lot of music instruments. We can't obviously have like, you know, an electric drum set and a keyboard and all those things set up like just permanently, but we have nice storage areas for them. And there's plenty of room in the bedroom, this bedroom, where if he was ready to start recording, he could take those things out and leave them set up in the bedroom, and there's plenty of room for it. And also, just setting up his computers and software, and he has just he's a pack rat. He has like bags and bags of like wire pieces and like components to DVD players. Like he just collects electronic stuff too, so he just has a lot of that. So he's working on that. He's doing really well. If you've been following my social media, you will know during all of this, he actually got a new job, which is pretty awesome. Working for a large home improvement retailer. He got a entry-level management job with them. And today is technically his very first day. So really exciting stuff happening for us right now. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much all I have to update on the apartment stuff. Pets are okay. My daughter is doing great. She was really hesitant and scared to leave the house. Our landlord, who is like family to us, and Leah were quite close, and Leah was afraid that we would lose kind of that bond. But so far we haven't, and she's actually stopped by here a couple of times just because she was in town, which is really cool. And she made us a lasagna, so sweet, when we last weekend. So I actually have her casserole dish I have to return to her, so we might do that tomorrow. Anyway, so Leah's doing great, except for she's still a slob. So her new room is just as messy as the one before. I just cleaned it last night for her, and I went in this morning after she left for school, and it's a complete disaster. So we're still working on trying to keep her neat. But yeah, so husband, daughter, pets, craft area. I'm super excited to be almost set up here. Things are just kind of, I put them where I thought that they should go, but I think that the only way to really get settled into a craft area is to use it, and then I can make adjustments with moving stuff around as I need it. We'll see. I can't wait to get started. Anyway, so this is my hello and just a quick catch-up video. I'm super excited to be back on track with things. I do have some mail that I need to open that's been kind of gathering. We did have an official change of address, so some of our stuff is a little late getting to us, but I have like my Scrapbook Pal pre-orders are here, and I have something here from Brutus Monroe, and I suspect I know what that is, but it's not something that I ordered. And we'll get into, so I thought that we would do an unboxing, and I also have, I have something from Kindred Stamps coming. I have their August release coming, and I don't have it yet, but when I do get it, I will do an order on that. And I know that the September Hero Arts has arrived at our former landlord's house. So I need to get that from her too. So I'll do unboxings for those when they come in. But I'm going to end this here and just say hello. We're fine, and I've missed you guys so much, and there are a couple of you that have been in touch with me this whole time, and I am so grateful for your support and friendship. This has been a really trying, I'd say the last couple of weeks have been a lot. So we're really excited to be on this side of the move. So I will end this video here, and the video, and then I will film an unboxing of the other stuff a little bit later. I'm just looking at the time here. It's just about time for my daughter to get off the school bus, so I will film an unboxing of these other things to have that go up on a separate time. And then look for Kindred Stamps and Hero Arts. And look forward, I just dropped stuff on the floor, look forward to some more crafty and life stuff in the future as we go. I am super excited. I have a few projects in mind that I'm going to pull out that we're going to get started on. Anyway, thank you so much. I will talk to you later. Bye.